Hello everyone, my name is Miro and thank you for joining me for another planty video. Today I decided to do an update and sort of like a repot. So it's going to be a light video that is naturally going to last for at least 24 hours because the length of the video has been increasing. We have my plants here from Kartel Daun. And I actually don't quite remember when they sent me these plants. I think it must have been in November or like late October. I'm kind of going towards late October. I could check. Okay, so the plants did arrive in late October, and I think towards the beginning of November, I may have posted that video. And here they are. Now, you most likely do not remember what these plants look like, so I will insert like a little footage of each plant, what it looked like when it arrived, and we're gonna see what they look like today. I will only not update you on one of the plants, and that is the seed that I got, which has germinated. It has 2 small leaves, and the only reason why I'm not gonna update you on that is because I still did not properly pot it, so out of shame, I'm actually not showing you that plant, but I will show you the rest of them. And we have 3 Hoyas. We also have a couple of Hoyas that I am recovering for myself, and we sort of need to deal with that. I think I will either completely empty out this prop box or at least set it up for some other plants, which we will get into. I will put on my gloves first, and some people do ask, why do I work with gloves? And the reason for that is because my hands get extremely dry working with plants and mixing the soil, the potting mix like a savage, which I will do today, and then, showering the plants. And I just find it easier to put them on, and then I don't have to take them off until I'm completely done with the plant chores, and I get to protect my hands a little bit. It's improving my skin, but it's still pretty dry. So anyway, I have not really checked on these plants. I don't think I watered them even once. So it was the initial watering. I put them in a prop box. I opened it like maybe 3 times in total to just see what they're looking like, and they were actually doing really well. Unfortunately, some of the Anthuriums, they didn't croak, but I think they had enough being in the prop box, 2 of them out of 3, and it's not terribly bad, but it's not as hot as they did look. I think on my phone I do have some photos prior to this, so I will show you what they looked like, but yeah, I may even showed it in the video. But we will deal with these plants today. I think all of them, well, not all of them, one of them is not going to get a repot, but a lot of them are going to get repotted. So we will also have that to look forward to. So let me just show you what I'm talking about when it comes to the Anthuriums. So this one, and it feels very light, I think this one also needs to be watered, which could be the reason why this happened, because these types of things do happen with inconsistent watering as well. And this is Blue Papillominum with 4th Sherman, so it's a cross. And you can really see in that last leaf, it kind of looks messed up. It looks dry. The leaf before that, they actually did grow quite a lot. These had some roots, but not too many. And you can just see what chonkers those roots are. So it really loved the life in the prop box, but it is time for me to deal with it. I don't think it has any pests. I also wanted to keep them as long as I can in the prop box because of isolation, to make sure nothing's going on. And I really think, well, maybe if I ventilated the prop box, maybe this wouldn't have happened either, and if I made sure to keep them watered, because this one is almost completely dry, but the one that is more moist is actually looking better. So I think this is maybe a watering thing. The other one also is drier, but not completely dry, and maybe like the leaf is a bit yellow there. It's not looking the hottest, that one. There is a new leaf growing. This one also arrived in the worst shape. It rotted in shipping, so I think with this one, it may be particularly more sensitive to like super high humidity, but I will repot all 3 of them in these pots today. So we are upsizing them, and then eventually we are going to do self-watering. I actually have 2 more Anthuriums that I need to put today in self-watering, which we may do in this video, depending how long this is. This is Papillominum X crossed with Forgetti, so that's parent number 1, and all of that crossed with Dark Phoenix. I think it's okay. I mean, I've had worse things happen to my Anthuriums, so I think this is really good. But the best one, which I still can't believe that I have, is the King of Spades. And this one really looks great. There's nothing wrong with this plant. It grew really well. It grew 3 new leaves, I think. Excellent. I mean, it's really sizing up quite fast. It's starting to look more King of Spades-y like. I don't know. It's starting to look really good. All of them grow incredible amount of roots. The roots are very, very healthy. They're looking really, really nice. So that makes me pleased. So that makes me really pleased. The undulata. I told you undulata was growing a new leaf, and it was, and then she aborted that leaf because why not? I mean, Hoyas are just Hoyas. And that's a bit unfortunate, but there is new growth here. And all of the Hoyas lost the roots in the shipping. So we will put undulata outside of the prop box. I was gonna actually cut it and propagate it, which I still might do eventually, because I think, I mean, why not get more undulatas out of this one? I can at least get now 2 cuttings from it, but I think when the new growth comes in, maybe even 3, because there is another new growth towards the bottom activating, which you're not going to really see on camera. So that's Hoya undulata. So I would say she's doing well. I am a little bit disappointed not to see some new growth, but again, I said them many times, that's what you get with Hoyas. Anthuriums, new leaves, everything, this, nothing. It's just how Hoyas are sometimes. They're either gonna grow right away or they're not. Coriacea silver is the one that I asked you if I should cut it, and I think I will cut it today because I think it's just a waste not to use up all of these aerial roots. So she produced a bunch of aerial roots in the prop box, and the tip is not really continuing to grow, though I might keep it on, but I will cut it here. It's really big, really nice. It's pushing out new growth, so if possible, I would put this in a larger see-through self-watering pot and then get 4 cuttings out of this. And I mean, I could actually... I'm having a bad idea. I could actually put several cuttings together, because these are all basically rooted. I don't need to root this. I can just put them in the... Do we think, you can't reply to me, do we think like putting 5 cuttings of Coriacea silver is a bad idea? I think it's not a bad idea. Putting 5 cuttings in 1 pot? Ooh. Watch me complain about having a big Coriacea silver in a month. Yeah, I'll think about it. I think, well, we have time. We have time until the end of the video. We're gonna deal with her last. The next one is Lacunosa Bruno. Ooh, Lacunosa Bruno. So this one did rot. One part of it rotted, and I sort of had to lay it flat on top. We lost maybe like a node at most, so it's not too bad. Now she's rooted, and I heard from several people that Lacunosa Bruno is kind of prone to rot. So Queen, why? Why are you doing that? But we managed to get everything saved. It does look a little bit awkward in the pot. This is the cutting in question, and it's laying flat, but it did manage to root. It sort of relied on the aerial roots that it made. It would be good to repot this, because I think I would like to trellis it and put it in my Millsbow with the rest of my Lacunosas. That's where my Lacunosas live now. Though I might not do anything. Maybe I will just leave it as is. It would be good to put it in a self-watering pot, though. It would be good to put it in self-watering, but definitely needs to get under a stronger light. I'm very pleased with this. I love it. It is my favorite variegated Lacunosa. I have the inner variegated, outer variegated, and I have this one. And this one, so far the best. One of the best, actually, variegated Hoyas. You heard it here first. So I will not put them there because actually one time I put a plant here. There is a light here which you sometimes can see. It lights this terrarium. I think I was doing like a spotlight on Hoya sigillatis for Patreon or something. I burned the plant. I put it there for a moment like that. I burned it. Imagine putting a plant under 30-watt light. Now we have two more plants that are sort of my own rescues. We have Hoya sipitagensis inner variegated, often sold as valiniana. It is Hoya sipitagensis, and it's doing well. It has rooted. This is the final rescue. I have one growing in my tent, finally. I swear, this used to be such a big plant, and it's taking a while to recover. She's not the fastest, but I'm glad to see that she has recovered for the most part. And I would like to put her in a normal mix. I sort of used pumice to just root her, and now we are going to put her in my regular Hoya mix, though we will be reusing this pumice because I'm out of pumice. And we have one more, which is Nabawanensis inner variegated, which I thought I was going to lose, but I'm glad I didn't. So I think very gently I will also repot this and put it in my tent. And hopefully that's the end of the saga with these. So anyway, I'm going to close the prop box because I don't want those roots, aerial roots of Hoya coriacea to dry out. So we're just going to preserve them. So let's start here with making my mix. I will make my standard mix, but I will not use any pumice this time. I will use just a little bit of pumice when I'm potting the Hoya because I'm completely out of pumice. I do have pumice from SYBOTANICA, but it is a little bit too small for the Hoya. I think I will save that for the begonia mixes. So for right now, I will just go pumice free. It's not the major component in the potting mix anyway. I do like to see it in the mix, but it's fine. I did order a bag of pumice, but it still has not arrived, mostly because I ordered it last night and, you know, people, it takes some time for things to arrive. So we are just making a standard bark and cocoa husk moss mix. That's what we were doing, and I will be using the same mix for my anthuriums. They're doing really well in this mix. Again, I do have two of them in the back that I need to repot, so who knows? Maybe we become super overachievers today. So I will be using today the orchid bark from SYBOTANICA. So they sent me this bark. They sent me bark, moss, pumice, Hoya mix, which I did try out for my Hoya Loki, which is in the cabinet. I need to give you an update on that as well. I will also use some of the cocoa husk that they have sent me as well. If you are in Europe and in UK, and if you want to try out their mixes, or if you're buying their mixes, you can use my code Basie plants when you check out, and that will give you 10% discount. It also earns me a small commission, so thank you very much. I already saw that several of you have made the purchase, and I also need to actually order more of the mixes because last night I had to, actually 2 nights ago, I had to buffer cocoa husk, and to be reminded of that, not nice. I really need to start ordering buffered cocoa husk from them, and I actually will do probably that after the video because I don't know why, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I keep postponing ordering the mixes, but doesn't prevent me to order new plants. So I will just sort of use all of the things that I have now. I have some bark from Ecuagenera. I will mix it with this bark because I was saving this for something, but you know, I just can't. I have too many open bags of everything. I just need to put all of them in one mix. Let's do Ecuagenera. Oh, dust, bark dust. Okay, so I definitely see there is some difference. The SYBOTANICA bark is slightly larger, which is not a bad thing at all. I found a button. There is a... What? Excellent. I found a button in Ecuagenera bark, a piece of metal. Did a human fall into the bark? There's some rocks. Interesting. Can we find like a diamond? Ruby, sapphire, whatever is the most expensive? Can we? Lottery ticket, maybe? €1,000,000. Is there something else here? So that's the bark. I will now add the cocoa husk from SYBOTANICA. This is buffered cocoa husk. I also have some of the cocoa husk that I buffered myself. A lot of people do ask me, how do I buffer the cocoa husk? If I have a video on it, I don't. It would be an incredibly boring video, and to be quite honest with you, I very superficially researched it. So like, I think I'm doing okay. I don't think I'm doing the best. But essentially what I do is I take the amount of bark that I want to buffer and I measure out the water that I need to cover it all, but like really cover it. Usually 10 to 15 liters of water, depending how much cocoa husk, if I said bark, I mean cocoa husk I want to buffer. Then I have the buffering solution, which you can get at hydroponics store, and follow just the instruction how much of the milliliters of the solution you need to use per liter of water. You can also use CalMag, because this is essentially CalMag that you're buffering with. You can use that, and 1.5 strength of CalMag, whatever is the recommended. If you're not using a specific buffering solution, the internet told me if you're buffering and you're just using CalMag regular, just use 1.5 strength of whatever is recommended, and you let it soak from 24 to 70 something hours. I don't know if it's, I do know 24 because that's the briefest. Some people say 36, some people say 48, some say 72. I don't really know. I don't really care to find out. So I do 24-ish. This I buffered for about 30-ish hours. I also don't use rainwater to buffer. I use a mix of my tap water with RO water. This time I used about 10 liters of tap and 5 of RO water. Can be waiting for my RO filter to filter out 5 liters when I need it. So, I just use whatever I had. Is it the best? I don't know. Is it the worst? Probably not. Some people say, don't use tap water. Honestly, I think it's better than unbuffered cocoa husk. It will also depend on the quality of the tap water in your area. I don't think we have the best tap water. It's definitely drinkable. You can drink it. It's safe to drink, but it is very high ppm. So whatever, I'm trying to do as good as I think is normal, right? Could I use RO water and, days ahead of buffering, fill out 5-liter jugs? Yes, but I think that's too much effort. I even think this is too much effort, because then, after you soak it, you have to squeeze the water out of cocoa husk, which is what I do. Some people additionally wash it. I just squeeze out, take a handful and squeeze the water out of it. It's a lot of work. I think, honestly, if you can, just buy buffered. Just make sure to buy buffered. Cocoa husk that they have sent me is definitely of better quality. You can now see it's bigger. It's really chunks. The cocoa husk that I buffered, that is from the hydroponics store, is not as great. You can really see the difference. There is a lot more fiber here. This is what just is available. There are no several brands. There's just one brand of cocoa husk in my country. So if I'm going to import cocoa husk, I will actually import the buffered one, because it will be just easier. I'm just trying to pick out all the pieces. You can kind of see that their cocoa husk is larger than what we have. But I will use it now, because I did not spend all this time buffering and draining. And we do have larger pieces, of course, in my cocoa husk too, but there's a lot more fiber. I think, obviously, SYBOTANICA probably selects for the larger pieces. Also, cocoa husk will stain. So when you're buffering cocoa husk, when you're soaking it, it will stain. When you rinse it in the bathtub, make sure to clean your bathtub after it with lemon or something, because it really needs something acidic to get the stain off. You will notice a slight brown orangey tint. So I about do half and half of bark and husk. If someone is wondering why I'm using coco husk in the mix, it's typically cheaper than the bark. It keeps the price of the mix down. Coco husk also, from what I read, will not dissolve, but it will not rot as quickly as bark. Decompose is the word. It will not decompose as quickly as bark. It's also good at keeping the moisture in the mix, but providing aeration. Bark will not keep any moisture. All right, so that's a good mix. And now I will just add some moss. And moss helps again with retention of moisture. If you have large perlite, you can use that, but I think pumice is cheaper, to be quite honest, because I saw the price of that large perlite and my goodness, oh, girl, is pricey. So I just gonna do like a thin layer of moss to kind of cover it, and of course I will mix it in. I don't know how much moss that was. This is not like an exact recipe, but I just basically cover it with a thin layer of moss and mix it in. Work in that moss, work in that moss, break it apart. I need to stand up to do the mixing. Okay, so this is what the mix looks like now. So we will start with the Anthuriums. I don't have abundance of battery on my camera or on my microphones because I'm totally prepared. We will probably have to take a short break very quickly, but let's try to do the first 3 Anthuriums. So let's start with this one. This is the dark or Papix and Forgetti with dark Phoenix. Once again, they have a lot of nice and chunky roots, which I adore. Do not focus on me. Stop focusing on my face. It's not focusing on my hand. For the love of all, I'm just... All right. Okay, so I turned off the facial recognition, so it should just focus on the plant. Or nothing will be in focus. I don't know. I actually will probably need to take a break and check this footage, but you should be able now to see that the roots are doing really, really well. And I really hope this is focused. Okay, I'm gonna do this one and then check the footage and take a break to charge my camera. So I'm sorry if this is not in focus. So it has really nice roots that I can see here. And this moss does have some slow release, but yeah, I guess I will just have to put more slow release in the new mix. We want to repot them to slightly larger pots, and then we're probably not going to repot them soon. And I'm not going to also do a lot when it comes to removing this moss either. But in general, I had really good experience giving my Anthuriums slightly larger pots because it seems that they really do not like to be in smaller pots. They grow faster, for me at least, when you repot them regularly. That's what we will be doing. I actually could probably reuse some of this moss, which would be kind of good because it has slow release, and we know that I'm not the most amazing fertilizing person. Alrighty there, so the roots are looking good. This is definitely overexposed. What is happening? Why are we so overexposed? Anyway, let's use one of the bigger pots and it will stay here for months. So I will actually use some of this moss on the bottom to kind of help with the moisture. And then I have my mix here, which I actually don't know where I will put. I need another like portion of the desk here to help me out. This is going to look a little bit ridiculous, but I do believe that it's better to do it now compared to when the roots start to get out of the pot, because this way we don't damage them. And once again, they grow incredibly fast with roots anyway. We will just use some of that moss on top that has had slow release with it, and probably I will add a little bit more of the slow release because I don't fertilize these quite a lot. It's also probably not a good idea to repot this one while the new leaf was growing, but hey, it is what it is. The most important thing is to keep the roots in good condition anyway. Okay, so that one is done. Papillominum and Forgetti with dark phoenix. I haven't decided where I will keep these. I think it's time for me to take them out of the prop box, but maybe they will go into the cabinet in the back, though there is a lot of light there, so we'll see. But this is what they are looking like now, and they will need to get a cover pot because I will absolutely underwater them. So they need to have something to keep the water a little bit trapped in there to kind of help out. The next plant I'm going to do is this cross with Blue Papillilaminum and Fort Sherman, and we can see slightly damaged leaf there on the edge, which is a bit unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? The roots are really nice here, so let's just get it out. And it would not have been the worst idea to water this one ever so slightly, but apparently we are allergic to good ideas. Oh, there we go. This one definitely grew more roots. You can really see how some of them are much better growers than others in this stage, because they were all pretty much the same size when they arrived. This moss is definitely drier. We will give them a nice watering, and I think I decided to actually put them in that cabinet in the back. For a moment I thought to repurpose the cabinet once again, to no one's surprise, but I think I'm just going to leave it as is for now, for some orchids and for Anthuriums and begonias, which still I need to take care of. I'm just gently removing the moss, but I'm not going to pull too much. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with coriacea, and I also don't really know what type of a trellis I would like to put her on, so I might just postpone it because, I don't know, aside from rabbit fence, I don't really have any material. Okay, so I snapped off a root here, which is a sign that I should stop. Yeah, let's not do it anymore. I really need to learn how to stop when I say that I will stop. And let's do my mix. Okay, let's make sure that we get those top roots in the mix as well. And actually the pot looks much more appropriate for this one. Hopefully these are not going to be a struggle, and once they are repotted we will be able to establish some nicer leaf growth. Because the roots are in good condition, so the only tricky thing is getting the watering right. You don't want to underwater nor overwater with these. So I think that's like the only thing that can cause I mean, aside from pests, it's the thing that can cause the leaves to sort of malform. All right, and some tiny bit of slow release to help me out, and we are done with that one as well. So we will shower and water that. And let's do one more, which I do believe looks the best, the King of Spades. I actually probably should put them in a transitional prop box to kind of crank the lid a little bit open, just so it's not a shock for them. It's gonna be a shock going from essentially what is 100% humidity to 52. That's the humidity in that cabinet, which is not amazing, but there are not many plants in there to keep the higher humidity either. So these are probably actually going to increase the humidity in the cabinet. I also saw some people grow Anthuriums extremely successfully in just basically moss and nothing else. And huge, we're talking huge specimens, and we are talking insane amount of growth. Like from this to a giant plant in a year, and they used only sphagnum, which is crazy. And actually they repotted them several times within a year. So this is sort of where I'm basing this idea from. We will see if it will go like that for me. Certainly the ones that I repotted in my video before have really gone up in size quickly. You will see one of them that kind of struggled a bit because of watering, but the leaf that it finally was able to make is huge compared to the previous one. I'm talking about my Affinity Basie, which you will get to see, because we need to repot him as well to a self-watering pot. And then I don't know, where do we go from there? And these are also probably eventually going to get self-watering pots as well. I just want them to grow into this pot first, and then we can talk self-watering. Okay, we broke a tip of the root, which I believe is just the sign to stop removing the moss, because we definitely do not want to be breaking these juicy roots off. They're very nice and healthy. Quit, Miro. Reuse the moss. A little bit of my mix, and we plop him in. Boop. It's actually, once again, a very appropriate size for him. All right, so we are done there. Some slow release. So we have finished with the Anthuriums. We have gained 3 more pots. I'm currently not going to do anything with this Lacunosa. I'm just going to leave it as is and decide at a later date if I want it on a trellis. I think I do. I think it would look nice on a trellis, but we will just wait a little bit with the repot. Undulata, I will not repot yet, but I would like to get it in a self-watering pot eventually, but I'm not going to do anything with her. Instead, what we're going to do now is deal with that 2 Hoyas that I have, with those 2 Hoyas. Okay, so those Hoyas, I would like to have a slightly smaller pot than this. I do have these, but I think these are too small, so not ideal situation. However, let me first get them out. I still have not decided what I'm going to do with my coriacea, except to cut it. I know that much, but I will just put it back in the box once I cut it. So it's growing here, and all of these are good roots, so I'm just gonna chop right there, and we're left with that base. Oh yeah, as expected, that vine broke off. It was already broken. So we have some roots here. And the only tricky part here is just deciding, I guess we can do it like that. So we cut this here, just to make sure that each part has enough roots. Let's do it here. Okay, well, this one probably has the most. So we will see. I'm just going to put them there to kind of dry out a little bit, but also to have the moisture. This one can definitely be potted with the base. Some of the other ones do have smaller roots, a little bit dry, but I think we can safely pot all of them together. At least 3. So I'm just gonna close that. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with these Hoyas. We have Nabavanensis and Sipitagensis variegated. So let's do the Sipitagensis first, which once again you don't really see. So I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more because we are fancy here with the zoom lens. Okay, so this is what we're working with. I want to save this pumice, so I'm just gonna drop it here. And we want to be gentle, not to break anything. So it's well rooted. Probably shouldn't hold it like that. It's well rooted. So I think I can instantly pot it. So I will use my mix here, a little bit on the bottom, and I actually do need some there. It's the gnocchi method, mixing everything on the surface. So it's kind of tricky here. It actually did not root at all from the bottom, so only the top rooted. And very gently, we're going to place the new mix around this. It's pretty sensitive, this plant, so we will take our time and only do very small bits, small chunks. We don't want to offend her. But to be quite frank with you, it probably would be best for this to go back into the prop box, which it might, just so it can grow a little bit more of the roots. Though, the one that I put on my shelf actually grew really fast, so maybe it can go on the shelf too. I just need to make sure that it's watered, so closer to the door. And yeah, I'm not going to press in too much here. I'm just strategically placing pieces of bark. Okay, so hopefully this can grow into a nice plant as well. And then I think I will propagate a cutting for my friend once this fully recovers. So in about a year. Because I think I want to grow 2 of them, one sort of as a backup for myself. Okay, now the next one, Nabawanensis. Oh boy, this was a hard root. The stem is super short, so let's be very careful. I sort of assume you already know how to take stuff out from the pot, so I'm not showing you that part. So they're a little bit tangled. I want to just untangle them very gently. And maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea to grow these in 2 pots. Okay, so this is the plant number 1. You cannot see, like this is, you can see where the cut is, right there under the leaf. So you know this was a tough rescue. I want a fuller plant instantly, but at the same time, I think it might be smarter to do 2 pots. What do we do? Do we do 2 pots? I think we will do 2 pots. Just let's not put all of our eggs in one basket. Okay. And slightly moss lighter mix here. So I'm just going to remove a bit of this moss. Okie dokie. Extremely gently, with a lot of stress, we place this. We wish you all the best, little Hoya. And we pray ever so hard that you grow well. Oh my. I'm just not going to press too much because I want to make sure that none of the roots break. Okay, so this is looking okay. That's the first one. Maybe a little bit slow release. Just 3 drops. And then let's use one of these. Let's use actually a clean pot because I didn't wash those from the Anthuriums. Some moss on the bottom. Okay, this one, oh my goodness. Ever so gently. Okay, that's good. Oh, just a tiny bit of slow release here too. Boop, 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 boop. Not too much. And let's do one for Valiniana or Cyprigensis. All right, so I'm just gonna dump this with the rest of the pumice because I will need Hoya mix for that coriacea. We're going to take a look at 2 more Anthuriums that are gonna go into self-watering. All right, so we have 2 Anthuriums here and 2 types of pots. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna use. And these are very, very dusty. I actually really need to shower the plants there, which you can see. This is my Anthurium. This is from a Hoya, isn't it? Pandurata from Vietnam, dry leaf. Wow, horrible. So this one is Anthurium Basie, and you can see this is the previous leaf, and then it aborted one, which the reason is unknown, and then it made this one. I mean, that's a size up. So I think my main issue with this plant is my watering. I don't think I'm doing the best job with watering. It does go dry frequently, but I'm actually happy with this leaf. So let's try to give it a self-watering pot. Now, I do have this size, which I absolutely think is too small, and I'm right. Typically, I've been putting my Anthuriums into this pot, and I think that's what I will do. I will not remove any of the mix. The mix is good. I will just add a little bit more. This is Crystallinum from just a flower shop, Crystallinum. I think it's a Crystallinum, actually. I don't really know. It's doing well. Now that one can maybe go. We'll see. I'll think about that one. So let's do that Basie. And I never know how to pronounce that, by the way. I don't think they have any mites, but I think I should treat them just like maybe with a bit of oil preventatively. So I'm just going to really not do much here. It's going to be very quick and basic repot. Of course, we did snap a bit of the root off there. Okay, the root inspection. The roots are looking nice. I don't know if you can see. There are some calcium deposits, unfortunately. My water is heavier with calcium. This does look, sometimes this can look like, is it mold, is it root mealybugs, is it calcium deposits? I do honestly believe this is calcium deposits. There is no, I mean, we did kind of say there may be a way for this to be root mealybug because of that moss from Equigenera, which I don't really know. Maybe it does have root mealybugs. Currently nothing is moving, but it does look a little bit whitish. I think I will just water it with hydrogen peroxide to help it out. But yeah, it shouldn't be root mealybugs. I really hope so. I really, really hope so. If you could stop falling, everywhere. Anyway, let's not think about that too much. And the mix. We could actually remove just the top part there. This is definitely more barky than my previous mix. I'm gonna add some slow release, a little bit more this time, and return that moss to the top with just kind of all the trash that I have. It just sort of helps with the moisture staying in the pot, which we want. That was actually quite easy. Wow, that's actually, what a sexy leaf there. I really like this one. For a moment there, because it aborted a couple of leaves, I kind of hated it, but we're kind of on the mend there. I do not like that it's curvy. I would like it to be more flat, because it's a little bit, whoop. I want it to be a little bit more flat, but beggars can't be choosers. And let's take out this one. The roots look good on this as well, but I think for now, maybe we can just put it in a smaller pot. It's not a good idea, but let's proceed. Because it will need a repot in like 5 days. Let's add a bit of that mix. I don't know why this is so pumice heavy. And then after this, my people, I have to decide what I'm going to do with that coriacea. What trellis are we going to be using? And I don't know. I am completely undecided on that. What trellis? Do I want to use the rabbit fence? I kind of don't love him. I like my twisted trellises, but those are quite small because I made all small ones and I don't have any more material. Just add some moss here on the top to help us with the moisture. All right, so that's that crystallinum repotted. Did I put slow release? I have no idea. Let's do it. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Now I did a double if I did it before. Okay, let's try out some things for that coriacea. I'm going to grab a smaller pot, a see-through pot where I want to put it, and kind of see if my trellises work. I do have a couple of types of trellises. I have the ones from Susie, from Switzerland. Someone thought Susie is a brand. No, Susie is a person. So I have these trellises from her. And I do like them. I really do like the look of these. The only complaint that I have is that they don't make them wider. So you can't really zip tie them. It looks a little bit odd if I were to zip tie this, right? Maybe we don't need to zip tie everything. That is a concept that we are exploring. I do want to do like 2 of them in the crisscross pattern like that. And maybe we can do that. This would be the appropriate height of the future trellis, though. I did make a bunch of these trellises, though, for myself. I'm getting ready for a project, which I need to film. So I don't have any more of the wire. I should have thought about this video first. So I have some wire here that I left. This is like the leftover. And these are all short. All of that is too short, so we don't like that. This is long enough. Unfortunately, I don't have another piece to kind of do crisscross. However, I think if I just zip tie this and add the second piece later, it will be enough, potentially. And out of these, let's check who's the longest. So this one, but it's still shorter. So I think I will do this. I think I will do that, and I will just add another piece. I will just zip tie this. This is not amazing for zip tying because it's so thin. Let's just go with this. So we need to drill some holes. I think this is the last plant chore that I have to do for today in front of the camera. I have to water all of these and then put them in a cabinet. I want to clean this, but I think I will actually record that because I want to make like a cleaning video. And that's probably going to take several days to record. I'm also waiting for my buntokensis to bloom, and I'm kind of thinking it may be on its way. Love it. So anyway, I think we're going to do several coriacea. I'm going to see how many I can put in here. Is this actually longer? But these are slightly longer. Uh-oh. Changing your mind. Does that look horrendous? Yeah, these are like literally half of the size. As my soldering iron gets hot, I'm thinking, should I do this? This is the brainstorm. What do we think? I actually don't hate it. I actually don't hate this. It's kind of like a ladder. You know what? This is what I'm doing. Let's just drill the pot. I also do have a bamboo trellis for this, but I don't think it's gonna look as nice. Another thing that I could do is I could make a trellis with the green wire that I have that I used for Loki, but I'm not a big fan of that wire. I just really need to order a lot more of this craft wire. I don't know who makes these, but whoever you are, you also need to make them slightly wider. Like, I'm not... you know what? I'm actually less mad about that than I thought I would be. I actually don't care. It will probably be harder now to pot this plant. Let's just see. The middle is sort of there. So let's just zip tie it. Are we recording? I need to stop zip tying. I really need to stop zip tying my gloves to the trellis, because that's not really the goal. On the bright side, this pot is now not going to be too big because it's supposed to host 5 coriaceas. So I imagine it will become too small very quickly. My potting mix, to which I will just, I will just add this. It is a little bit difficult to pot. We have all these cuttings of coriacea. All of these are not going to fit. I can tell you right away. He's gonna try though. He's gonna try. Let's get this. What a ridiculous idea, sir. This basically basically filled out the entire pot, yet let's untangle them a bit more. And once again, the potting mix of choice will be the air. You know what? This is a really bad idea. I'm regretting it already. Yeah, I think I can kiss that idea of all 5 fitting in here goodbye, because it certainly doesn't look like that's a possibility. If someone was here to stop me. But this is what happens when you leave me alone. So this one has a trellis. This one goes here. So essentially this one needs to go, let's do it here. And then can we just get someone who has fingers that are like a child, but more willing to cooperate? They not only do they fit, but there is space for potting mix. I'll bite very little. I'm also trying to get all of these aerial roots, or as many as possible, in the... You know what? We need to sacrifice our skin, because we cannot do this unless we sacrifice a bit of skin. You know what? Despite what you say, I think this is actually going to be a great idea. I think when we look back on this moment, we will say, Miro, this is one of the best ideas you ever made. It's going to be my legacy. You'll see. I think I've done enough. I think that somehow this was not supposed to be there, but closer to this side, but that's okay. When they all start growing, they will find their own way on the trellis. I think this was a great idea. Let's just see if we... Oh! That one wants to go out. We do have like a gap of air there, which we need to fix with... let's fix it with one of these. Maybe if I let them root a little bit more, I could have put them in a larger pot. But since they're not all that... I mean, the base is well rooted, but the rest of them, you know, are in the beginning stages. Hopefully this is going to work. It's going to go into the tent. I'll keep an eye on it. So, currently doesn't look like anything, but I think this is going to be the best decision I ever made. Potentially. I'm going to let you go now. I need to leave and water. and clean this up. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that the video was with decent audio, because I noticed that my mic was sort of, once again, flipping on the inside of my... I really don't know how the other people do it. Like, how do you do this with these lav mics? They are really annoying. We hope that all of these plants are going to do well after the repot. Let's just put a bit of fertilizer for coriacea. I kind of forgot that. Boop, 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 boop. There you go, baby. Food, food, food. You're never going to see it again. I'm joking. Anyway, let me know what you think about these plants, if you are satisfied with the growth. I'm quite satisfied with it. I'm so happy that we got to save Naboanensis. Hopefully it won't croak again. The first time it crowed because of me, I burned it with hot water. I was treating for mealybugs. And yeah, we're just hoping for a lot of positive growth from these plants. Have a wonderful day. I will see you very soon. I have something planned. So this should come out before the weekend. If it didn't, sorry. But I have a very fun video planned for the weekend. Hopefully, if things go well. If not, then we're not going to talk about it. So anyway, see you in the next one. Once again, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. And... that's it. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Go water something. Go water, says the underwaterer. I would like to take some time to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons, my 2 anonymous patrons, Alex von Siebenthal, Anne Margaret Moyne, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, Anna P. and C. Aspen Drake, Betsy Brett Noble, Coney Pagano, Daniela Danube Daniels, Danan Rolls, Dipanjali Rao, Ether W. Erin Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen, Vera, Ferdis Verdons, Francis Wilkins, Gathering Moss, Gina Geise, Gina Radovich, Grossitz Kyle, Growing Nurse, Hannah Matlin, Heather Uppenkamp, Hoji Scott, Yana Griffin, Jennifer Martin, Jessica Chia, Jonas Barry, Hjorth Larson, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Kelly Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Elle Lindberg, Lee Mooney, Lisa Mary MPLS, Lucas Yarchevsky, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michelle Heron, Mirka Grun Roos, MJW, Moa Edmond, Miss Seidenhar, Nelly Yang, Niha, Nicole Moreau, Nina Nguyen, Nita Macy, Odette, PJ, Plan Druid, Syke Zera, Rachel Peterson, Renee, Rebecca C, Sharon Bone, Sophia Ariane, Starla Von Lith, Stephanie H2O, Sophie Cortecangas, Tessa Martins, Thomas Marsden, Tia B, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Xenia Green, Youth of the Walamut, Zaira Rivera, Zordorama, and Zlokobni Pony. Also, a big thank you to my $3 patrons: Anna Malia, Karen Kilone Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden Corlett, Holly Borner, KPZ, Lindsay Ann, Monica Wykers, Nella, Nerdy Kathy, Renee Church, Ringlov, Sheila Casper, Tang Watanasrio Cool, VH, and Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons: 1 anonymous patron, Alice Borlin, Andrew G, Aquila, Brandon Pacheco, Catherine Molina, Couture Helvetica, Amelia Bronson, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Laura E. Jackson, Lauren at Tugboat Plants, Laurie N. Subramaniam, Luzmin Fernandez, Marga FV, Mary Diamond, Neely Spicer, Olivia Chinmuller, and Pacific NW Plant Lady.